Christmas and Happy New Year, you guys. Thanks so much for sending me these questions. This is my mini Q&A number 45, I think. It's so hard to believe I actually done this many. But quick announcement, guys. I have videos on the horizon. It's going to be random, and I'm going to actually churn them out before the end of the year. I have my top 10 villains video. I have my top 10 video, top 10 heels of 2013. And also, guys, I have my possible 2 I Feel Fantastic series, one on finales and the other one on Doctor Who. And I also have I Feel Fantastic about BioShock. I love BioShock because the final final add-on is going to be coming out soon. And then that will be it for the entire BioShock series. I will do my overview on BioShock 1, 2, and Infinite, as well as the 2 add-ons that are going to be coming out for Buried at Sea, or Burial at Sea. Guys, I am absolutely just thrilled about these. They are going to be random, and I do have a lot of topical videos that I'm going to be putting out on the holidays that are already done, so stay tuned to those. But anyway, this is a Q&A. Let's get started because I do not want to pull 30 minutes on these. But anyway, let's get started with my first question from Mr. Griffin via Twitter. Thank you so much for sending me these questions, man. One wrestling question. Would you like to see Mickie James return and take on AJ Lee? Yeah, it would be pretty cool. AJ Lee really does need a challenge. The only challenge that she actually had so far is Natalya, because Natalya is the only one of her entire breed that can take her out. Well, I don't want to say breed, but let's face it. The Amazonian goddess breed, or the Amazonian women that were like way a lot more back in the day, like during the Attitude Era, are gone now. There's only 2 left. That's Natalya and that's Tamina. But Tamina is actually her sidekick or her bodyguard. But then we got Natalya, which, well, yeah, she's like the only one left. So it would really be nice to actually see Mickie James. Mickie James has to bring a lot more flair, and I would see her as a better Divas champ than AJ Lee right now. But that's just me personally. Because AJ Lee actually has a lot more, she's a lot more interesting than Natalya, so I'm fine with her having the belt. But if Mickie James came along, make her champ. Please make her champ. That's just me. Your next question for me is one non-wrestling question. Did you ever watch any of the Super American Sensei series, better known as Power Rangers? And if so, what was your favorite team? Good grief. I have to say I like the original. Because the original, number one, the original had really great storylines, really great chemistry between each of the characters, as well as developing romances between the Green Ranger and the Pink Ranger, which I thought was cute. Seeing Kim and, not Jason, but seeing Kim and the Green Ranger get together was kind of cute. I like that. I like the current one, but the only problem that I have with the current one is that the transformations are too daggone long. For those that actually are in the anime and have seen some of the Magical Girl anime, for example, Sailor Moon and Sailor Stars, it's so freaking long. The transformations are so long. You get taken out of the entire show, and you're like looking at your watch, waiting for it to be done, or you're wondering, good grief, with these transformations taking this long, wouldn't the villain just put a bullet in their head and it'd be all over? Like, it'll be that long. And that's why I just don't really necessarily like that show. But I will say that I like the current, I like the old one, the classic one, the first one that came out. That's just me. But thanks for sending me that question, man. And my next set of questions from Twitter, question from Twitter actually comes from Largest85. I've had long hair for 5 years now. And if I cut it off, will I miss it and dream about my long hair every night? You just might. Because, I mean, come on, you've had your hair for 5 years. You're gonna miss it. And it takes a long time for your hair to grow back. You get a ½ an inch of hair a month. For your, just imagine, it took 5 years for you to get your long hair. You only get a ½ inch a month of hair growing on your head. You're gonna miss it. And possibly dream about it. Maybe for a few nights. But then you'll get over it. But thanks for sending me that question, man. And let's get started All my questions actually via YouTube. If I really do sound stuffy, it's because I have allergies and they never go away. But thanks, guys, so much for sending me questions. My first set actually comes from Final Limits. Did you ever, what do you think of Beetlejuice, and have you ever watched a cartoon in the 80s? I love Beetlejuice. Beetlejuice is awesome. Like, seriously, that was probably the best movie I have seen around that time. I love Gina Davis as Miss Maitland, or Mrs. Maitland. I think that was Alec Baldwin as her husband. I love Michael Keaton as Beetlejuice. He was phenomenal and absolutely awesome. I absolutely love Winona Ryder. I loved her as Lydia. She was absolutely cool as Lydia. She portrays her well. Even, I mean, her whole character was awesome. Just it's awesome to me, especially the final end of it. I actually loved the cartoon series. I thought the cartoon series was really well done and very good for its day. It's just a shame that it ended so fast, but it was done on a fad, and that's the only messed up part. When you do a cartoon on a fad, even when the cartoon is good, that fad needs to continue for the cartoon to be relevant. And now when Beetlejuice actually started losing his flair, unfortunately, the cartoon ended, and that made me sad because it was a great cartoon. I loved it. I loved every bit of it. Especially the fact that it's concentrated more on Lydia and Beetlejuice as her going from her world to his. I prefer that than actually having the Maitlands and everybody else involved in the cartoon. I'm kind of glad they cut that out. It was a great cartoon, but anyway, I'm going to move on from there. I'm talking too much about it. What shows do you remember watching in the 80s? Gosh, so many. There were so many cool shows in the 80s, from the Golden Girls to TGIF was phenomenal back in the day. TGIF was the one thing that you waited for on Fridays. Every Friday on ABC was the main reason why you waited till 8 o'clock. Family Matters, Perfect Strangers, Just the 10 of Us. It was awesome. The entire line was awesome. I loved it. It went on from the 80s to the 90s, but the 80s, Family Matters was the show that I watched the most. I even watched Full House. Family Matters, Full House, Step by Step, all of them were awesome. Seriously, that entire block was phenomenal, and I loved it. But anyway, I'm getting way too nostalgic here. Moving on to your next question for me. What if the whole wrestling product was around in the 80s? Okay. What if the whole wrestling product was around in the 80s that we have today, and the 80s wrestling product was around now? The 80s product will be laugh out the building, and the product that we have now would be banned. It would be, the stuff that we do now would be banned in the 80s, and the things that they do in the 80s would be laughed at now. I guess that's how I can phrase it. That's the best way I can phrase it. Because honestly, even though the 80s weren't so PC, there were some things that they actually drew the line about. But who am I kidding? No, they didn't really draw the line at all. Shoot, we saw boobs on TV. But, I mean, but I don't know. Maybe they would I don't know. I guess with the whole PG era thing, maybe they would consider it a little bit bland and boring then, I guess. But it was all about, no, actually they really wouldn't watch it because it wouldn't seem like actual wrestling to them. It was all about kayfabe. Like, seriously, it was all about kayfabe. There's no kayfabe now. So they probably won't even like the product. And if you actually have the 80s product now, I will say that it'll probably do pretty good. Because it'll bring a little bit more imagination to the character, but it will breed more psychos. Yeah, a lot more people like waiting in the alley for that person to come out and try to shoot them. I hope not, but, well, it won't. But anyway. Why is Dolph Ziggler getting buried? I have no idea why Dolph Ziggler is getting buried. I don't know why. This guy's a great talent, and for some reason his talent's being wasted again. He can actually have great storylines on his own, but for some reason they think he needs to have a chick by his side in order to make it work, and that's a lie. But I mean, I don't know. It's kind of weird. But maybe he pissed somebody off backstage. That's the only thing I can pretty much think of right now. Good grief, I'm gonna get this on. But anyway, next question. Will Daniel Bryan ever win his WWE title back? Yeah, it's gonna take some time though. The thing is, it's not really taking so much time for WWE Universe to get used to him because tongue tied. The WWE Universe love Daniel Bryan, as well as indie fans love Daniel Bryan. Just the establishment hates Daniel Bryan because of the fact of how he looks. They don't like the fact he has a beard. They don't like the fact he looks like a lumberjack. They want him to be clean, polished, big, tall, whatever. And it's going to take a long time for them to get used to Daniel Bryan. So let's face it, it's going to be months, maybe a few years before you can get that title back. I'm hoping that he'll have his come up into WrestleMania. It will be nice. That will be a great moment for him, but I'm doubting it. Have you ever seen, have you seen Selena Gomez's breakdown on stage due to technical difficulties? No, but actually send me a video on that. I'm just curious to see how that looked. Because I never thought she would ever break down. What did you think of Test and Stacy? What do you think of when Test and Stacy were together in WWE and Test turned heel and mistreated Stacy? I'm not so keen on abuse. I'm not, no matter what it is, I'm not keen on abuse, especially if it's fake. And Test and Stacy Keibler actually were kind of cute together. I'd rather have Test and Stacy Keibler than Test and Stephanie McMahon. That's something that was kind of weird. But yeah, I thought they were cute together when they were together, but I'm not so keen on abuse, even when you end it. It was never cool. Randy Orton. But anyway, moving on from there. This comes from Real Harold. Real Harold, King of the Jungle of Nigeria. Thank you so much for sending me your questions, man. What does Nature Girl 30 think of Lex Luger? I think he was a cool character back in the day. It's just a shame what happened to him now. Well, it was a shame what happened to him when Miss Elizabeth passed away and she was found in his house. And it kind of messed up his reputation for a while. But I thought he was a great character back in the day. He was truly a powerhouse. I kind of miss seeing him in the ring. I don't think I'm ever going to see him in the ring again. He looks, but it really looks different. Now, he doesn't look the same as he used to, in my opinion. But moving on from there, good grief, my throat is dry. What WWE games does Nature Girl 30 have? The only WWE game that I have at this point is WWE 13. And that happens to be a really fun game. It's really easy to play. I have it for my Xbox 360. It's great to play when you're online. I think you can play with Xbox Live. Me and my nephew, my 8-year-old nephew, can figure it out. And we literally go at it like pros. Like, seriously, we go at it like it's no joke, coach. But honestly, that's the only game that I have so far. I really want to buy WWE 2K14, but Microsoft is trying to literally suck every ounce of money out of that thing because the 360 is no more, and they're literally charging them at full price. Ridiculous. But let's go on from there. The Nature Girl 30 ever watched Hey Arnold? Oh yeah, I love that show. Good grief, it made me sad how it's no more and how it ended. The one thing I loved was Helga. Well, I guess Helga and Arnold. There was some kind of, like, Helga will always beat up on Arnold, but Helga loved Arnold. And when they finally had a date together, he did not know who she was, and it broke my heart. But in the end, they actually saw them in the future, and they finally got together in the future, and I loved it. They got married in the future, which I thought was awesome. But it just made me sad throughout the entire time. They were pretty much the only two that I really felt that would work out. But it just made me sad throughout the entire series. You would just never know. She would always have her heart towards Arnold, but she could never tell him. She would always beat him up. He would always be afraid of her. And it's just sad. But anyway, great story. My next set of questions actually comes from Final Limits. What if Punk cut a pipe bomb on Hulk Hogan back in 1987 instead of Cena in 2011? How would fans react since there was no internet and dirt sheets back then? Honestly, it would be a lot more epic if CM Punk was around. I don't know if he was around during the days of Hulk Hogan. I don't know how old he is. But if he was around back then and he was actually able to cut a promo to Hulk Hogan, it would be a lot more epic because no one would know. Like, seriously, no one would know what was going to happen. No one would know what was going to go on. It would be completely improvised. and nobody would have a clue. And it will pretty much be the most epic moment of his career. Unlike now, which everybody pretty much knows what's gonna happen. But yeah, it would be epic. I wish it was like that now, but it ain't. My next set of questions actually comes from Miss Alana Nicole. Thank you so much for sending me these questions. What are your thoughts on Eva Marie? Do you think she's passionately hated as the Total Divas are leading us to believe? No, I don't think that she's that hated. I think it's just kind of over exaggerated by her hatred. But I really do feel that Eva Marie would be a great heel. She has that potential. She has that edge. She has that appearance as well as her hair. But she just needs to work on her in-ring skills as well as her mic skills. And when she gets those down, she'll be an awesome diva. Awesome diva. True diva heel. Probably better than AJ Lee. In my opinion. Do you think Roman Reigns is a dark horse to win the Royal Rumble? He has been getting a lot of hype. But I really don't think that it's gonna... it might be between him and Daniel Bryan. But in my humble opinion, I really do see Roman Reigns being the next challenger for The Undertaker. Like, seriously, I really do think he can take on The Undertaker. And if he beats The Undertaker, he will be the most hated guy in the WWE. And that would be great because he's already a heel with the Shield. It would work. If they don't turn him face, that is. If they turn him face, kiss that goodbye. But I really do think that he's in the running to actually be the next guy to challenge The Undertaker. But I really do feel that Daniel Bryan is going to be the one to win the Rumble, not so much Roman Reigns. But he is a dark horse. I will say that he could possibly be a dark horse. Possibly be one. But it's kind of hard to tell because of how flip-floppy they have been as of late. But yeah, he could be a possible dark horse. I'll give you that. Do you think the Wyatt family is do you think the Wyatt family will do good in the Rumble match since they've been a breakout faction in 2013? Maybe. The one thing about the Wyatt family is that the Wyatt family are their own entity, and they're supposed to be the most. They're considered enigmas. Not a lot of people know exactly about a lot about the Wyatt family, and their lack of knowledge, the lack of knowledge about them, is what makes them popular. They are the question marks of the WWE, and if you actually put them in the Rumble, that'll make them like everybody else. So I really don't think that they will be in the Rumble at all. They'll probably have their own match. But if they actually do put them in the Rumble, it'll probably be one of their minions. And I don't think that... I mean, I think that maybe the minion will probably go to be number 5. Be the 5th person in the ring in the Rumble. But I don't see them winning. And I hope that they don't actually be in the Rumble because it's going to take the fear out of the Wyatt family. It's going to make you less afraid of them. And if you take the fear from the Wyatt family, then you completely killed the faction altogether. Maybe that was looking a little bit too much into it, but that's how I personally see about it. Your fourth question for me is: do you think Nikki Bella is blind for staying with John Cena after he told her that he would never get married or have children? Or do you think she's soaking up the luxurious lifestyle and using him as an ATM? Honestly, I'm not gonna lie. If you were like in that position, it would be a huge perk. I'm not gonna lie. It's somewhat of a perk. But I really do feel that she loves John Cena. As for John Cena loving her, I think John Cena loves how she looks. He might love... I mean, I really do think that they're really great together. That's how I personally see it, but I don't know them. But I don't think she's blind. And the reason why I'm saying that is that everybody changes their mind. Nobody keeps the same idea in their head. There's some people say, I'll never get married. And then maybe a few years down the line, they get married. It may be longer before he's comfortable in getting married again, but I'm not counting that out. I'm not. I'm really not counting that out. And if she does get fed up, she'll just walk away. I think she has a great support system that will encourage her to walk away if she has to. But I don't think she's blind for staying with him. I think that she's hopeful. And there's nothing wrong with that. Your fifth question for me is, who is your least favorite diva on Total Divas? Natalya. Yeah, I gotta say Natalya. At first, I was thinking JoJo because of JoJo's age, the fact that nobody wrestles with her, the fact that she can be a little bit whiny sometimes. But it's Natalya. Natalya is practically the most stiff boring diva there is. She is so straight laced. She will, like, literally, she will not deviate outside the lines for anything. And when she does, she goes overboard. Like, she's just so boring. Like, there's nothing wrong with cutting loose every once in a while. And I kind of see why they did the whole farting and the whole pee thing with her. Because she's that stiff and she's that controlling. So, yeah, she kind of annoys me a bit. She's a great veteran in the ring, but on Total Divas, she is a complete stick in the mud. That drives me nuts. But yeah, I have to say Natalya. Pretty much it. But thanks so much for sending me questions, girl. You are awesome. And my final set of questions actually comes from Get the Hook. How old are you? Wow, dude. Get straight to the brass tacks, huh? But I'm 33. About to be 34 in March. Not ashamed. Are you a spiritual person? If that means that I have a relationship with God, yeah, I say that I am. What kind of work do you do, and what is your dream job? If I tell you, I have to kill you. But I like working outdoors. I always like working outdoors. And I always love enjoying and being a part of nature. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Are you in a relationship? No, I am not. Like, I am not in a relationship right now. I'm actually enjoying being single. I have no problems with being single. I'm really just kind of enjoying my life right now. But look, great questions, man. What makes you happy? Okay, what makes you the happiest in life, and what do you think is the secret to finding happiness? Honestly, there is no secret. It's more of a discovery. And what I mean by that is that with me, I have been my happiest when I started developing a relationship with God. When my relationship with Him started to grow, it just made me happy. I really wasn't as open as I am now. I really wouldn't be doing these videos. If the old me really wouldn't. I was a complete ice queen. I really wasn't friendly around people, and I was very distant and very cold. And mostly it was out of fear because I was really insecure about my disability. I had a learning disability. It kind of affected the way I learned things, and also kind of affected the way I was. I was extremely hyper. It was kind of hard to stay focused. There was a lot of things about me that made me really insecure, and my insecurities made me an ice queen. But when I started developing a relationship with the Lord, it just made me warmer on the inside, and it made me love a lot more, and it made me capable of loving, and it made me happy. And I started to love who I was and not really look at myself for my disability, but look at myself for having a God that loves me despite my flaws and despite any mistakes that I make in life. I have a man named Jesus that loves me throughout, thick and thin, every single day. No matter how many mistakes I make, and no matter how, even on my worst day, He still loves me and He still gives me the best. So I'm not going to say that what is the secret to happiness in life? Because there is no secret. It's a discovery. If you choose to seek Him and you find Him, then you will discover Him, and you will discover what I mean. And I guess it's the best way of saying it. But not to sound cliche, but that's pretty much the realest way I can put it. And your final question for me is, who are the most annoying people in the world of pro wrestling, and or people you just don't care for? I have to say 3MB. I guess because 3MB is just so freaking corny with the. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I loved the one-man band thing at first with just Heath Slater. They were awesome when they stuck as 3MB. But now 3MB is starting to get on my nerves when they kind of reinvent themselves in every country they're in. When they were in the UK, they were the Union Jacks. When they went somewhere else, they were another name. And I'm like, really, guys? Come on, just be yourselves. But thanks, guys, so much for sending me these questions. If I seem tired, I'm a little exhausted. And after this, I'm probably going to go to bed. But honestly, guys, I hope you have a wonderful Christmas and an excellent New Year. I am looking forward to 2013. I'm hoping you guys are too. Keep sending in those questions. Send it to me via Twitter as well as YouTube. And if you guys want to send me a question via Facebook, send it to me on my Wrestling Fan Nation page. I look that up a lot. So if you want to send me a question on that, you can as well, and I'll put that on my end credits. Snitch Girl 30 signing off. Peace out. Happy New Year, and have a wonderful Christmas, guys. Later.